residents of MeepleTown, today we are talking about the open sandbox game called Western Legends, where you're going to be taking on a Wild West character and going around the board doing all kinds of crazy Wild West things.
Woo-hoo.
John, what'd you think about the art and components?
Really nice. Great art. I think the art's really actually fantastic on the box. On the board, it's pretty good. But overall, I really do like the art. I like the miniatures. They're nice. I've got a little mini complaint about the miniatures and the fact that I can't really tell which ones are the bandits and which ones aren't. There's a couple bandits that I think are bandits because they have kerchiefs over their mouth, but then there's only 2, and there's 5 bandits. So that kind of irritated me a little bit.
It's irritating. They do have these little colored bases on it that, you know, once you put those on, they can stay on. You don't have to worry about it. But the first game, I was like looking up pictures on the internet trying to find out which characters were which. And it took me about 20 minutes.
It wasn't that bad for me. I just went for it. I was just like, you know what? I'm not sure which one it's supposed to be, but I'm just going for it. But again, I mean, look at the box. It's good. I like it. What do you, I mean, do you?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not my favorite style of art, but that's not a fault of the game. I think that this is exactly what you need in this style of game. It looks like a Wild West scene. If you look at the board, it looks like a Wild West town. And my complaint with the board is that the lines on the spaces outside of town and inside of town, not the town lines, but the other ones that are real thin. Sometimes it's difficult on the board to see where those boundaries of spaces are. But that's a minor complaint.
Yeah, and I noticed that the first time I played, I was kind of looking extra close to the board to make sure that I was in the right space and all that. So I agree with that.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the gameplay.
I love talking about gameplay. I'm guessing you make me go first.
Nope, I'm taking first.
Whoa, all right. Pew, pew.
I really like the gameplay. The thing that really sticks out, if you're going to look at this game, probably if you're watching this video, it's because you're interested in the theme. And this game has lots and lots of Wild West theme going on in it.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, the open sandbox nature means that you can go do anything you want. So if you're thinking, I want a Wild West game where I can go rob a bank, or I can duel, or I can, rustle cattle, or go arrest the wanted player, play poker, anything like that. You can do that in this game, and with the expansion, you can do even more once that comes out.
Yeah, hugely, hugely, hugely thematic. Maybe my favorite part of the game is that I feel like I'm in the Wild West. And I can't even... Stop making faces like that, Dean. I can't play this game without getting into character.
Yes.
In fact, I was playing this with my brother-in-law as my brother walks in and goes, remind me to never play this game with John because it's so annoying. But I had a blast with that. And I do like the open sandbox thing. I do enjoy, playing poker or going and mining or dueling folks and stuff. That's pretty good. There will be folks that like heavier strategy games.
Sure.
That I think are going to be disappointed in this game because it's open sandbox, but I don't feel like there's just huge amounts of strategy in the game. There is strategy.
Right. Yeah, and there is a lot of luck with this game too. You're going to be doing all the actions that involve fighting or playing poker. You're going to be using these poker cards, and when you use those, really it's kind of luck of the draw, and so you could really get bad draws. And have a hard time.
Maybe lose your cards.
Yeah, you have a hard time. You have a hard time doing the things that you want to do effectively. Now, if you lose a game of poker or lose a fight, something like that, you're going to gain a poker card, so that helps in the future. But sometimes it can feel really frustrating if you're just drawing bad cards.
And I'll say on the positive note, you mentioning the poker cards, I like how they're dual purpose.
Yes.
So that does lead to strategically some decisions that you have to make. Should I use this in the poker match? It's got an ace, but if I use the ace in the poker match, then I would definitely win a duel if I use the ace. So, what do I do? Those were probably some of the more interesting thoughts and stuff. Or is Dean coming after me because I'm wanted and he's a marshal? So do I want to draw money at the beginning of my turn? Do I want to draw another poker card at the end of my turn? So I do. There is some strategy. It's just not like, if you're all a Euro guy or gal, you may be like, it's okay. But thematically, it's tons of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is that hand management aspect that you're talking
Sure,
about, because there's a hand limit, and the more wounds you take, the smaller your hand's going to get. And so you have to think, do I want to keep these low cards that have these, that have these great actions or reactions on them, or do I want to keep these high cards for when I get in a duel or want to win a game of, potentially win a game of poker? You can use, any cards can be beneficial for that, but you have to think through, what am I going to be doing next, and what cards are going to help me do that successfully?
And it's thinky in that sense. There is a little thoughtfulness to it.
Right.
But again, it's not overwhelmingly strategic, but you do have to make some decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about our final thoughts and review, final thoughts and rating on this.
We hadn't got to the review yet. We're just about to start now. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So I thought Western Legends was great fun. I'll tell you that I tend to like more strategic games. Where I've just got to really think a whole lot. I tend to really like brain burner games. This is absolutely not one of those games, but it's still great fun.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Means I wouldn't turn it down a whole lot, but if someone's got, Castles of Burgundy, we like that a whole lot better. I'm not saying that's a brain burner, but if someone's got a game like that on the table, I'm always going to go to that type of game. But just for some fun with the buds, it really is good. I wouldn't turn it down a whole lot, because you can just get into a character and have a blast with the game.
Yeah, I'm much more of the Amerithrash player between the two of us. So for me, it's all about the experience in this game, and I love the experience that you get. I love the fact that you can be a marshal and just focus your attention on capturing arresting the wanted players and doing the nice noble thing, but it's a slow and steady pace of getting those points. And I love being the wanted player when you go around and you're trying to keep away from the sheriff, keep below the law and
it's fun
outside the law, and you get to do all these crazy things, but make sure that you don't get caught, because if you do, you're going to potentially lose points, and so I love the experience in this game. For me, this game is a 9, but this game's right up my alley. I love these open sandbox thematic games for sure. Now, I will say this. We have both played this game 2-player, and I will never play this game 2-player again. It's not a good experience for me. There is an NPC player called the Man in Black.
The Man in Black.
And the Man in Black is going to be attacking. He's going to be attacking. He's going to be moving around the board, but a lot of times he's going to be attacking the player with the highest amount of legendary points.
Yeah.
So if you're playing a 2-player game where one player is wanted and the other player is the marshal, for the first half of the game, he's pretty much just going to be attacking the wanted player, and it's not fun if you're that guy. Fun.
And I've told you this before. I liken it to the blue shell on Mario Kart.
Yes.
When you're in first place and you are cruising, but people just keep hitting you with it, you get hit once and you're like, okay. You get hit again, you're like, ugh. You get hit by about the third time, you're like, this is just not even fun anymore.
Right,
it's going to hit me every time. I'm destined to get out of first place. And so I agree with that experience. Now, I have heard some people say they enjoy the 2-player experience. So maybe that's just Dean and I's experience, but I definitely, honestly, thumbs down on the 2-player. I'll never play it 2-player.
Yeah, and I think it shines in higher player counts because of how many people are around the table, acting as these characters, these Wild West characters. That's part of the experience.
We need to dress up in Western gear and play this game sometime.
I don't think I'm going to go that far.
Oh, I'm into that. I'm into that.
All right, well, that's Western Legends. I gave it a 9. John gave it a 7.5.
Yes, sir.
Check it out for yourself, and thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.
Yeah.
All right, this is the player board for Western Legends, and you're going to be choosing a character to put on your board, and you're going to be choosing from characters like Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp and Calamity Jane and Jesse James and Billy the Kid. You're going to take your card and look on the back side of it, and that's going to show you what you're going to be starting off with. So in this case, with Doc Holliday, we're going to start off with $40, so we'll take that, put it into our little wallet there. Then we're going to take 2 poker cards that'll help us later on in the game and keep that hidden. And then we're also going to be starting with our wound token. And Doc Holliday's case, he starts off with 1 wound. We're going to take our miniature that will go on the board. Then we'll take our cubes and disc, and those will also go on the board. That's how you're going to start off the game. Then you're going to flip your card over so everyone knows that you are Doc Holliday. Well, let's look at the board. All right, and this is the board setup, and you're going to have these little bandit guys out here. You're going to have poker cards and cash over here, story cards, and I'll kind of go through all these as much as I can. But on your turn, you're going to be taking 3 actions. And the first action you can take is just to move. So naturally you get 2 movement points, so you can move 2 spaces, that's 1 action. Another thing you can do is from the poker cards in your hand, if it says action on there, you can take that action. In this case, it says gain 1 marshal point or 1 wanted point. And what you would do is just take your little cube, and whether you're on the wanted track or the marshal track, you just move up 1 on there, and that will be your entire action. And then really kind of the crux of the game is you're going to be taking actions based on the locations that are on the board. And I'll go through a few of these, but there's a saloon, and in the saloon you can play poker. And when you do that, you're going to be paying some money for the ante, and anyone else who's in town can join in this game. Then you're going to be looking at the poker cards in your hand. If you were the one to activate the poker action, you're going to draw a card. Or if you join the game, you're going to draw a card. Then the other players are going to be playing against you. If there's no one else playing, then the board is going to be playing against you. Player's just going to draw 4 cards and play as the saloon. You're going to flip 3 cards out there. Then you're going to take cards from your hand, and you can take up to 2 and play them, and you're going to try to build the best poker hand. In this case, I don't really have much, and so I would just play 2 cards, and I would say king high. Whoever wins that is going to get $50 from the bank, as well as any money that was put in for the ante. And that's the poker action from the saloon. You can also go to the ranch, and you can take one of the cattle tokens, and if you're a marshal player, you're going to want to go the good route. So you're going to want to take your guy, and if you take a cattle token, you're going to want to move on down here, get to the train station, and then you can sell that, take the bonus action that's on the cattle token, and also get a point for that. You can, if you're a bad guy, you can take a cattle token from here, go sell it at another ranch, and you're going to gain a point movement on the wanted track, as well as the bonus that's listed on there. You can go to the general store and buy cards, which will give you things like whiskey that you can heal wounds and hit people over the head with. You can take a 10-gallon hat, which will help you with the poker games, and you can take a miner's map, which will help you at the mine, and I'll explain that in just a second. But those are the different types of cards. You can also buy different weapons and things like that. If you go down over to a mine over here, you're going to take these 2 big old dice and you're going to roll them. And they're going to tell you what you do. If it's an X, that's nothing. If it's a money symbol, you're going to take 10 bucks and that's it. That would be your whole action to roll those 2. Sometimes there's a reroll symbol on there. You could reroll that. And what you really want from the mine are the gold nuggets, because if you get gold nuggets, you're going to be able to put those on your player card and then eventually move down to the bank. And if you go to the bank, then you can sell these gold nuggets for 1 legendary point. Those are the main victory points in the game. And then you're also going to get $20 for every one of those that you sell. Now, while you're at the bank, let's say that you are on the wanted track. You go, you sell your gold nuggets, or if you just want to go there, you can also rob the bank. This is the heist. And what you're going to do is you're going to fight a guard, and if you're successful, you're going to get money as well as some wanted points that will eventually lead to legendary points. So there's lots of different actions that you're going to be taking on the board. You can also go to the cabaret to get victory points. You can go to the hospital to heal up, or the doctor's office to heal up. You can go to you have the sheriff who's going to go around and arrest the wanted player. So lots of things that you can do. One of the other things I want to point out real quickly is the story cards. When you meet a qualification on one of these story cards, you're going to put your little disc. When that fills up, you're going to flip that card over and read the flavor text on it, and it will give you a little bonus to go along with the game. So what you're going to do is try to get the most points. You can play a short game, which is 15 victory points. You can play the medium game, which is 20, or the long game, which is 25. Then once you reach that threshold, that's going to trigger the end of the game. Whoever wins at the end of the game, or whoever has the most legendary points at the end of the game, is going to win.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at MeepleTown Games, and connect with us on the MeepleTown Guild, Guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com. and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.